Welcome to our guide on how to get good at Caustic. Let's get started. Caustic is primarily defined by his ability to deploy gas wherever he pleases. Enemies who enter this gas will be at a severe disadvantage, with their vision being blurred, their movement becoming slower, and their health becoming drained at an ever-increasing rate. The damage done by the gas starts at 1 per second, but exponentially increases by 1 for every successive second in the cloud. What's more impressive is that the gas completely ignores any form of shields and deals damage directly to health. What this means is that a player with a fully decked out legendary body shield will be dead after being exposed to this shit for only 15 seconds. If this isn't fucking broken enough, enemies who are in the smoke are also highlighted, making them easy to identify and introduced to your friendly bullets. The first way to deploy gas is your traps, which are triggered when enemies come within range or otherwise deal damage to them. Caustic can store up to 3 of these at a time, and with a measly cooldown of just 20 seconds, feel free to spam this shit harder than your email account after signing up for free Robux. The real beauty of these traps are their versatility. Players can throw this shit behind them to cover their blind spots, and always be aware of sneaky idiots trying to get the drop on your superior squad. Players will also notice their crosshairs indicating damage when one of their traps has been activated. Another strategy for these magic balloons of death is to throw them around a teammate that you're about to revive. This will both provide you with a warning of enemies closing in and make it almost impossible to fire at you properly if they do decide to engage. What's very fitting to Caustic as a character is that he strikes genuine fear in his enemies. Throwing traps around an area sometimes puts so much pressure on an enemy squad that there are some occasions where they'll simply leave you alone to continue whatever bullshit strategy you're trying to employ. In general, gas is best used defensively, so throwing them around yourself to stop another squad from aggressing is an excellent way to compose your team. Ironically, the ability to completely suffocate your enemy is also the best for giving your own squad room to breathe. The cloud is also surprisingly thick, so although not impenetrable, some players may find it possible to hide within the gas somewhat effectively if the situation demands desperate measures. Although, with this in mind, gas traps can be hidden relatively well in actual smoke, meaning that enemies might not be aware of the horrible mistake they've made until all they can see is a fluffy white blur. One of the most bullshit strategies is to block the escape route of an enemy and force them to stay within your cloud. This can be done by other teammates closing doors behind them, even when they are in a down state. The longer enemy squads are trapped, the weaker they will become, until eventually they will be inhabiting an environment more toxic than the typical game of League of Legends. Like every legend on offer, Caustic is best suited to when the player is able to fight on their own terms, which is almost always in an indoors environment. Simply place a bunch of traps on every entrance and hunker down in the safety of your new and cozy home. With this in mind, having a shotgun on hand is an excellent addition to this combination, as your aim is to fight enemies with every single advantage you can employ. But even when unquestionably under-equipped, most players can still find success with even the most pathetic of weapons when the player they're fighting against would be classified as both legally blind and slower than a North Korean internet connection. This method of hunkering down means that you often need to be in a prime position before enemy players can engage your squad. Having a pathfinder on your side is extremely useful for this reason, as they can both know where the zone is going to be long before other squads and transport your team much faster than would otherwise be possible. On the way to the location of your final stand, don't forget to be a toxic player and throw traps on balloons, portals, and even downed players. Although, if you get to a prime location and there's already an enemy squad occupying your rightful castle, simply use your ultimate ability and throw in a gas grenade that will either force them to run out into your fire or stubbornly succumb to your industrial strength pesticide. Alternatively, throwing this ultimate inside of a building will also identify any cheeky players trying to hide and make them regret ever leaving Fortnite. Players can use an ultimate accelerant to speed up their ultimate charge time, although many squads would benefit much more from almost any other ability under most situations. especially when it's unlikely that a squad will need it more frequently than once every 2.5 minutes. So enjoy playing Caustic, the legend who understands that fights never have to be taken without a grossly unfair advantage.